Well, hi again everybody. Jake here with you for another edition of Demko Modelworks. I believe this is part 6 of our 1400 scale Kestra build. As you can see here, I've got most of the ship done now. As far as going through and getting everything prepped. I still have the nacelles to do, but I've got the paint on the clear transparent areas, and I'm just gonna have to wait for that to dry. But you can see now I've gone through and doing my seam on my lower section here. I've got it, just got finished doing that, so it's drying in most places, but you can already see, let me zoom in, and most places you can see here, I just got finished putting it on over here, and it's still dark, but you can see it's starting to dry over on this side. So it's already dry, so we'll probably here about another 30 minutes or so. This will be the saucer section will be completely dry, and I can go through there tomorrow. But I'm gonna let this dry overnight completely, and then come back through and sand it down and put the base coat on there and get it ready for that. So, but we'll let that dry. But and now I've got my pretty much my back end of my ship done. The part that goes into this area here, the pylons and the part where the shuttle bay is, and got all the wires run and ready to go up for the nacelles. And I'll probably mount the nacelles on before I put the assemble it onto the kit, onto the secondary hull. Normally on this kit, this is the clear version, but normally on the opaque version you have to trench out a little bit on the pylons and in this area here. Well, on this one you don't have to. There's just a little bit of room that you have to play with in here, because I'm using magnet wire, 26 gauge magnet wire, and you don't have to do a whole lot of trench work on models when you have this kit. There's a few kits that you have to, regardless, like the pylons for the Reliant and the pylons for the Enterprise E. Those you have to, and the Enterprise D as well. But most of all the rest of the kits that are this scale, you can you can just run the magnet wire through. So, but that's why I love magnet wire so much, because it bends and conforms pretty much. It will lay pretty much up against the edge of the edge of the curve here of the pylon and up, to where you don't have to do a whole lot of extra trench work. Now, if you're wondering what this was, I got it to where when this part is in the ship and you won't see it, and I was going to go ahead and cut this little section out, but decided not to do that. But anyway, that gives it a little more, it gives it a little more oomph, and it won't have a tendency, that way it won't want to sag or anything else like that. So, but we got this glued together, and so it's drying now. Have our circuits. We're gonna have we have one red here for all the positive, simply for the fact that we're using the 1/1000 scale, or the 1000 board from Tenant Controls. And with this board, pretty much everything goes, all the reds go into, all the positives go into the red, and all the power goes to the black, and so we have the yellow wire here, which is the strobes, and the green wire here, which is the navigational light. So we're going to have this mounted in the base, and I'll have all my wires come together in the secondary hull, and we'll have just 4 wires to run down through the pole. And we're going to have our positive wire that goes through everything, and then we have our nav and our strobe circuit. So all that's going to come out here to the front, and I know I have all this kind of long, but have that for a reason. So that way, I'm going to run it all through the front here, and then run it down through the side. But I always run them just a little extra longer. That way we have make sure we have enough to where we don't have to worry about soldering, you know, and touching the plastic with the soldering iron and melting it and having problems that way. So, but this is going to be drying overnight, and then tomorrow I'll go back through and with my putty and putty all this together, you know, get all of our seam work done on it. The back side looks, you know, the back end of it looks real well, so not too much worried about it. You know, we can go through there and get all of our, you know, repaint everything real good. And this one is going to be if you ever build this ship, you know this kit comes with the Enterprise C version and the Yamaguchi. Well, this kit is going to be built with the Yamaguchi pieces, so there's going to be a few little extra parts that go on here, but we've got them we'll be going through on that with later. So, but now we have let me turn my power on here. Now we have our secondary hull, and I have my lighting installed in the secondary hull here, and you can see I have an LED strip here on the top side on either side of the neck here, facing in towards each other. That way it'll bounce back and forth to the windows on the neck. And so we've got this side scratched out all the way through, and I've got all the windows on the secondary hull scratched out. So what I'll do is I put in oops, I'm getting sloppy here, I'm getting tired. So what's going to happen is I put one LED strip up here on top in the neck on both sides in the same place, and then on this one you can see where I have it here, it kind of forward up on this one, and then on this one I have it pretty much down here on the side. And I may go back through and switch it, I don't know yet, but I did it that way to where it would kind of have the lights kind of bounce off in different angles. That way it will light up the secondary hull really well. So what I'm going to do now is put this together and hook up my power here, and I'm just going to hook up the one side where I have soldered together, and it turned out real nice. So let me get this plugged in, get it up here where it doesn't fall off. And I'll turn my light off where you can see it maybe, but then I'll kind of stand in the shadow and I'll zoom in. Let me zoom in to where you can see the windows. But pretty much they have everything. You know, we have, let me see if I can't get there we go, get you in the shadows a little bit more, but have all the lights coming through real nice. Now I'm gonna have to go through here on a couple of spots, like right there, and there's some up here that I scraped off, but I can touch that up with the airbrush. But you can see how real nice and pretty that's shining through on those windows on top, and it's what we want. So when we have the saucer section on, those windows will come through really pretty. And so you know, we got that set pretty much where we need it to be. So and then I'll have I will probably go through on this, and let me turn my light back on, or let me turn this off to where it doesn't blind you when I take the two halves together. Let me turn the light back on, sorry for the glare. But probably what I'll do is where the deflector dish goes through, I'm probably gonna mount an LED somewhere, you know, on a piece of sprue somewhere. I'm gonna probably mount it right in here to where it'll shine through real nice for the deflector dish, and you know, we'll light block it and everything else like that. So it'll be nice once it's done and we have our piece here. I've got it primed, and just got to put the I've got it light blocked. Now I'm going to prime it tonight and then paint it tomorrow, and then that way this will be for our impulse engine that goes here on the back, and we'll paint that red. And probably won't be putting an LED in here because there's there'll be enough ambient light from the both sides there'll be enough ambient light from both sides of the neck to light that without having any problems. So, but that's that, guys, for this edition. Now, gonna be I gotta kick it into high gear here in the next couple of weeks. I've got a client coming down from Washington, so probably won't be having a whole lot of videos doing on this. I'll probably have a couple of more on this, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'm going to get it shipped out. He's sending me a couple of more of the Defiance, and we're going to be going through and working on those. Probably won't do a whole lot of video on that. When I don't know yet what they're going to be. I don't know if they're fixers or where they're going to be complete builds yet. I don't know, but I got that boat finally finished and sent off to the client, and he was real pleased with it. I did a video for it, but I didn't like the way it turned out. So I just gonna tell you about it. But he was real impressed with it. I did a real nice base for it, and built some little 350 figures here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is I'll get it up to you here. It's a little clear helicopter here, Seahawk, and painted those up for him real nice and put decals on them and put them on the ship. Did a osprey for him and a couple of Harriers, where they're positioned different on the ship, and everything else, and that kind of wet my whistle for doing another boat. And just so happened to go to my local Hobby Lobby and picked up the Arizona, and gonna be building it, and probably go through a little bit of a tutorial on that. Went through the box, and there's not a whole lot of detail to this ship. The railing, the photo etch, and all that kind of stuff. There's not a whole lot of, or there's not any photo etch, but where the railing is on the ship, it's all plastic, it's all opaque, so can't really do a whole lot of detail work on the ship. It does have the windows and everything in it. I don't know if I'm going to light it yet or not. Just depends on what it is, but I'll be going through and doing that. A lot of people are doing boats and everything like that, and I saw so this will be, I'll be going through a little bit of a update videos on this, and go from there. So I do want to get eventually I do want to get the Lusitania. A lot of people have been doing it. I've seen several kits been done around Facebook and YouTube, and so I want to get that one eventually and go from there. So we got a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff going on this rest of this year. Have another kit, another upcoming project coming up, and it's going to a big one, and we might go through a little bit of build on that one. I'm going to have another 350 TOS I'm going to be doing later on. This time I'm going to be using the motors for the nacelles on that one, as well as the tenant controls, not the tenant controls, but the Big Easy modeling board. It came with the kit that I bought off of from a guy, so going to be interested to see how that works. And we still got, I've still got that Reliant I need to, we're going to be finishing up, and so finally got all the stuff in that I needed to finish that and fix that. So on the nacelles and everything, if you remember me taking you through and showing you about the candy cane stripe on the nacelle on the back of it, had to order some stuff for it, but it came in finally, so we're going to be able to go through and fix that. So and I'll take you through a little bit of that and show you the update videos on that. So but anyway, guys, that's it for this episode, and back on part 7 we'll have a little more work done with the nacelles, and we should have I'll have probably tomorrow I'll have the 2 halves put together and glued together and ready to go to mount to the ship, and mount it all together. and you know, we'll have our putty work to do, and you know, seam work and all that. So next time you see it on part 7 of actually this, she'll be pretty much together. I'll have it puttied and everything else, and ready to go for that. So, but until then, guys, take care. Keep building those models out there, guys. Have fun with them, and as they always say out there, guys, happy modeling, everybody.